This is Brad Matheny. Today is the 19th of March, getting closer and closer to the end of the month. We're still looking for potentially that rollover up into the 570, 575, 580, maybe up in the 581 area. Could come actually before the end of this week. We will see. We're at 562.20 right now, up about $1, not much. We're looking at a topping pattern today in trending mode, showing accumulation here in the short-term trending, which kind of bodes for a bit of an upward move. We have a flat down pattern tomorrow and a breakaway pattern on Friday. As I mentioned to you, we get into this major reversal and Bozu trending on Monday. I'm believing this Bozu trending is going to be very aggressive. We're going to have to see kind of what happens. I wouldn't, let's put it this way, given what's going on in the market and going on worldwide, I wouldn't be betting too heavily on Friday that we're going to get an up or a down move here on Monday. I think Monday's got to play out as a very big question mark on the 24th. I really do believe this could be a big bar. Bozu trending is normally a pretty big bar, kind of like a pop or a crush pattern. So again, wouldn't be overly aggressive into Monday over this weekend. We've got a major rare reversal pattern setting up. Then I believe we're moving into that breakdown pattern like I've shown you here. We're kind of, and again, this is the same thing. I kind of keep going over it, but when you're predicting, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 bars out in the future, meaning days, 2 months out in the future, not really much to change all the time. I've already drawn it for you over and over again. I can draw it again, but look at the blue line, look at the downward trending, look at the breakdown. I mean, it's kind of like I don't have to keep changing too much because it's already there. So we're looking for this trend to move up a little higher, from where we closed yesterday. Let's take a look here up into this. About, maybe 15 points. And that would be, that'd be a pretty big move, actually. 5.5 points is 10%. Sorry, it would be 1%. So, yeah, I mean, moving up 3%, not, too crazy when you consider how much we've moved in the past. So, again, we're talking about maybe a 3 to 3.5% move up. Call it 2.5 to 3.5% move up into this 578 area, maybe 575 area. Then we're going to potentially roll downward into this end of March low. And again, I think that's why this weekend is so cautious, to be aware of the fact that we could be moving into a real big major reversal type of trend coming up this weekend. We will see what happens and if it happens, but again, not overly aggressive right now. Take a look at the QQQ. We're looking at the same kind of a move. Hopefully we get a move up into the 489, 493 area, maybe a little higher. That would be essentially this area here, 489, roughly about here, to 493, pretty much that area. Set that up as a kind of a target range. That would be my estimate of a rally high area. So understand, if we do get a rally up into this area, this 490, 488, 489, up to 492, 493, 494 for the QQQ would be about my estimate for a rally high. Don't really think we're going to get too much above this, and understand that it really plays into the 382 level and the fact that we're still in disruption, moving downward. So, like I said, consolidation is the next big phase here. I don't see any big impetus for a big pullback up into this area. Just simply put, I don't see it. I don't see what the driving force is going to be. I see a potential little pullback here, but then I see we're moving into this low. And remember, this low, as I've drawn it, is really a bit more aggressive. It's kind of up into here, and then maybe back down into here, and then maybe back up into here, maybe back down into here, up into here, kind of like that. It's a bit more aggressive than I had drawn earlier on this chart. So be aware that we're rolling through this potential sideways downward channel here into this consolidation phase. Remember, we had the excess phase peak up here. We rolled down. We broke below the low. We've set up an initial low here. We're moving into consolidation. So we're looking for that upward move right now to set up a consolidation high, which should be probably over here around 490, 495. And then we'll move into consolidation. Where we set this low is going to be very dependent on what we see in the future. If we set it above 467 on the QQQ, then we might be looking at more sideways trending. If we break to a new lower low down here, 458, 460, below this level over here, 467, 62, then we're looking at a consolidated downward apexing or flagging formation. Okay, now remember, we're looking at that big, crazy, major reversal this coming weekend. So my advice would be to prepare and get as light as you can into Friday. Maybe if you want to set up, something on a VIX trade or, something simple, maybe a nice little spread trade either way. But remember, we're going to be moving into Bozu trending top, which might be the last gas topping mode early next week before I think we're going to roll over into a downward trend down here into the end of the month into early April. So be aware that we could get a nice little big, either breakaway upward trend on Monday or a big rotation on Tuesday. So, or a Monday, Tuesday next week. Okay, let's go over here to gold and silver. Gold is trying to climb back up to new highs again, 30.50. It's doing pretty much what I've been telling you guys it would be doing for the past couple of weeks. It's rallying. It's gotten, let's come back over here to daily. Whoa, okay, try this. So you can see, guys, and I got a lot of lines out here. So, we carried all the way up, and now, I don't want to get rid of everything, but I may have to. What the heck? I can always draw again, right? So let's start over. So we've had this massive rally. We talked about how we got into this rally phase up here. And, you can see that I have been talking to you about these legs, about how, gold moves in these legs for quite a while, actually. And give you an example. So here we go. And this will eventually get packed on up in here. So here's our leg higher. Here's another leg higher. And now here's another leg higher. See if we can find it here or here. So you can see how we've, rallied up. And essentially I can move this up to here. And then probably move this up to here. And what I'm trying to show you here is that, we rally up. We move sideways. Consolidate. We rally up. Move sideways. Consolidate. And rally up. So now where we're at is that we are at kind of a reaching somewhat of a peak, Could potentially move sideways here. I don't think it's the end of the move, personally. I think that gold has quite a bit more. You can see this stair-stepping pattern. And again, it's pretty clean. It really is pretty clean. And it's just 100% move every time. So, this equals this. They're all the same. And you can see how we are just advancing. And that means that we would be looking at an advancement up next, up into the 3,400 level. And I believe that comes very quickly here in late March, April. And you can see how we advance up. And let's take a look now at previous moves from this low up. So slightly off, but still carrying over pretty well. And what I'm going to again explain to you is that we are moving into what I believe is a parabolic mode. So you can see here, this is going back all the way to 2022, 2021. And really where we're at with this is a parabolic expansion moving up. And gold is in a solid parabolic move. I think that the pausing here will only be for, maybe 5, 6, 7 days. There's a lot driving this move in gold. And it's primarily due to the panic in the U.S. and global markets. And I believe that's going to be a very solid rally up to this 3,400 area, 3,500. I believe this is really a very solid move, giving you a lot of opportunity to the upside. But remember, this is daily. So, we're talking about, if I were to give you my estimate here, of how quickly this is going to move up, I would tell you that by pausing, rolling, moving into this parabolic channel, maybe April, end of April, maybe end of April. So I'm going to mark this visually in my mind. I think that this time frame right about here is going to put us at this 3,400 level, and maybe a bit more aggressive. I mean, we're in a pretty big expansion here. We could get a double expansion just rallying straight on up right off of this level. So it could be a little bit faster into like April 11th. But I'm going to put this marker here, April 29th. I think that by the end of April, we should be up above this 3,300 level. I'll just draw it right here. So that's kind of my projected area. I think we're in a very solid, expansive phase here. I think we're moving. You can see the slope of this. Use a regression channel. So the slope of this versus the slope of this, which was very aggressive, and versus the slope of this. So you can see these two channels here are fairly clean, meaning that, if we were to, in fact, let me do this, draw a channel line so we can try to get an idea of channeling. Extend right, purple, and come here, get rid of this, come over here and channel line up across these highs. So see, we're right at that high, very close to that high right now, right at it actually. Okay, so this is where we could move into a more aggressive channel. We've rallied right up this channel, and now we're moving into this more aggressive channel. So now we could potentially move up along this channel here. And I would drag this potentially here or here. And I would say that gives us a very solid, more aggressive price channeling level, which I think we need to pay attention to. So given this move, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to show you that we are within this channel. If we were to pause right over here, would not be too unexpected. We break above this purple line right here, we could move into a very solid, more aggressive upward channel, which I'm drawing here in dark red, pushing gold up into 3,400 very aggressively. It'd be something like this. It'd be kind of a pause and then a rally right up into this area very aggressively. And that would again put us in the same scenario over here in silver. Now I've cleared everything in silver here. So let's come in here and take a look. And I don't want to waste too much of your time on this video, but I'm going to just show you again. You know, I go through all of these things. This is how my charts end up so cluttered. Is basically I do all of this analysis for you, and then we have to slow down and take a look at where we're at. So there's the current upward channel, okay, off of these 2023-24 lows. And again, getting quite a bit of data in here. You can see this is the current upward channel. And if gold were to begin an aggressive move higher, I do believe that silver could as well. So if we move over here into silver and kind of take a look at the most recent channeling up in this area, we would be looking at something kind of like this. And this would be a more aggressive upward channeling in silver. And again, all I'm using is price. Someone wrote me the other day a message is, you know, maybe you could put some indicators on the chart. I'm trying to teach you guys that price is the ultimate indicator. You don't need to learn too much more. Okay. You can see, again, we don't really have what we do have them. I mean, they're all over the place. You can see a rally up here, pulling down to a low, moving into a flagging formation, broke down, didn't get below the low, rolled back up to a high. Now we've got more flagging, rolled up to a new high. Technically, this move here should be the same as this. From this low, actually from roughly this low to this high, extend right, dark blue, make it thick. This next move up should be exactly the same as this. So when we get up here, that puts us at 3,300. Look at that. So we're looking at a very solid move up to 32, you know, call it 60, 33.50 on a big expansion phase here. And that's the same kind of thing we have over here. Okay, we come over here, we can see all of these excess phase peak patterns rolling up, flagging, pulling back into consolidation and ultimate low, then rolling out of the ultimate low up to new highs, rolling back down, flagging. This is actually a bit more complex over here. There's my buddy Kurt this morning. This is actually a roll down into a flag with a moderate breakdown into consolidation right down here. Now we're moving back up, trying to break above this level. If we do get above this level, we're going to be looking at basically a 100% measured move, which will be basically from this low to this high. And that will indicate a move up to $38. Okay, but like I told you, when we're looking at this move and we see these expansions, I do honestly believe that gold or silver is trying to target this $44 to $46 area. And it really comes down to the fact that, we have this expansion here, let's call it from the 2024 lows, from here all the way up to here. And I do believe that that next expansion phase puts us right up here in the $44 area. And again, this is all price. If we get into this expansion mode, if gold goes parabolic, silver should as well, moving very aggressively, kind of like this, up into the $44 area, probably by about June or July. So I think we've got a very good opportunity. But I do believe, I will tell you right now, that we are going to potentially move into that pausing pattern. And look at this, folks. I mean, daily price tells us everything. And let me get rid of this. We don't need all of the old excess phase peak patterns. So here we're running into this pause along this measured move up. We're going to run into a pause right around this resistance channel right over here. So a little bit of a pause, 1 or 2 or 3 days would be reasonable in my opinion before we attempt to resume momentum back to the upside. I think that's a very reasonable measure here for metals reaching these 100% measured moves. Remember, we're right at 100% measured move here in gold, and silver's right at pretty much recent new all-time highs. So we're at a point right now where a bit of a pause before a big breakout, and that breakout could come right around the end of March into early April. That's where I think it's going to be. So give you an idea that I think this is going to be the launch pad area. End of March, early April, right here. I think that's the launch pad for a big move higher. End of March, early April, right here. I think this is a launch pad for a big move higher. Okay, there's my gold and silver analysis. Remember, we are looking at a consolidation pattern today, then an inside breakaway in Thursday, Friday. Could be very good Thursday, Friday. We move into a rally phase on the 22nd. Inside breakaway, Harami. Inside breakaway in trend mode. A pop mode in counter trend mode. Have to be aware of this on the 27th. Could be news. Then blank, blank, blank. Then we end up in a Monday, the 31st, as a gap, stall, revert, flush. So now understand, this is a pattern that I added about 6 months ago. It can either be a gap, a stalling pattern, a reversion pattern, or a flushing pattern, meaning it can be a number of different things, but it typically results in a kind of a stalling and or breakaway type of pattern. So we'll see how that plays out. And lastly, don't want to run in too long. We come over here to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up 918. I still believe that we're going to try maybe to run up into, and we could get a big move here in Bitcoin. I mean, relatively big. I still believe we're trying to get up into this 87, call it 87,000, 87,500 area, which means we could see a move like this happening fairly quickly, right? And now that area, that means that we're looking at a potential big rally here of $3,300 in Bitcoin, maybe a little higher. But I think that's going to happen over the end of the month. So we might be pushing all the way out into kind of this area. Bitcoin trades 7 days a week. So, we could be moving into that target area, kind of in that area, thinking that Bitcoin is going to continue to trade. And we'll have to watch Bitcoin over the weekend to see what the markets, the SPY and gold may try to do on Monday. If we get a big rally this weekend carrying up into this area, this could push the SPY and gold up into a good solid rally phase before rolling. Now, when we get into this panic selling, which again, might be a little more out in this area, when we get into that panic selling mode into end of March and start to see it start to come down, gold and silver may react to the panic selling with a bit of a downturn, a bit of a pullback. We'll have to see how it reacts. But long and short of it, like I said, I'm still looking for Bitcoin to try to move up to this 88,000 level, 86.5 to 88,000, maybe a bit higher. And I think it's going to make a big move here. I think it really has to go up into this range here off of that low. I think it's got to be looking to try to retest this area as consolidation. And it's just fairly shallow consolidation. I mean, in theory, this could just very well be a pause in a downward move to bring us into lower consolidation. But right now, we got two lows that are holding up. And those two lows tell me that that's decent enough consolidation. We'll see if it holds. Now, if we get a very shallow consolidation, then we're looking again at 100% measured move from roughly these highs down to these lows. And again, price being the ultimate indicator would then indicate from the consolidation high levels down to the low levels and put us down to 60,500. Put a little marker over here and try to get this blank. And I think 16. So understand that we could easily see a breakdown of about $28,000, or I think that's going to be about 30%. Yep, 32% to the downside in Bitcoin. So we're really kind of paying attention to this area, guys. Looking for ultimate support down in that area. Okay, 27 minutes, a little long, but happy Wednesday. I'm going to take my father out to a appointment again today, and that'll be more around 11 o'clock my time, California. And let's see what the markets do. Right now, they're holding up a little bit. We'll see if we get any big moves today. Go ahead and get some. Let's find out what the markets are going to do.